Okay, they spent trillions of dollars giving it to major corporations just so they wouldn't go under. They spent trillions of dollars, beefing up the stock market so we wouldn't have a panic. The government now, these are the people who y'all think they're trying to make us wear masks. It's a form of control. No, it's not. You have no idea what you're talking about, and you're wrong. The government would love to control everything. The U.S. government would love to control the whole world. They're just not capable of doing so. And they don't want to make you wear a mask because that doesn't do anything. Okay, that's not showing control. Like, look at this. We told the people that they should wear a mask, and those dummies are doing it. They're not doing that. They're not sitting behind, they're not sitting in that building on Men in Black. You know what I'm saying? Laughing at that they were able to make you wear a mask. You wearing a mask is just something that came out of the scientists who said, well, we can stop the spread of an airborne virus if everyone wears a mask. Okay, that came from scientists. The government's not trying to make you wear a mask to show control. If you believe that, you're wrong. I'm not going to say you're stupid, because some people are smart. They still believe things that are not true. But that's because they're not 100% sane. It's not always about your level of intellect. Some of it is just because you're not 100% sane, and that small part of your brain, the small part of your brain that's not 100% sane, lets things creep in there that is just not true. The government's not trying to control you by making you wear a mask. It's the silliest thing I've ever heard. Okay, the government would like to control everything, but they're not doing it by trying to make you wear a mask. It doesn't benefit them to make you wear a mask. They're not going to go through all of this just so they can prove that they can make people wear a mask. It's silly. It's nonsensical. Okay? Take it from a sane person. All right? Sometimes I feel outnumbered by the crazy people, you know what I'm saying, who are thinking things that are completely ridiculous. This is completely ridiculous. It's all about control. No, it's not. Okay, it's just something that this is just something that was out of their control. To be honest with you, they wouldn't allow the pandemic. You know what I'm saying? It cramps their style. They're losing money, giving it away to people, stimulus checks, and government, major corporations bailing them out, propping up the stock market, pouring money into it. The government was pouring money into the stock market. Okay? So, we'll talk more about it, but that will only happen after these messages. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
And now, without further ado, the man we've all been waiting for, T-Jam D. Welcome back to the show.
Welcome back to the show, people. Anyway, this conspiracy nonsense gets on my nerves, because when I read that post today, people are posting things that are just stupid, because they're like, oh, we're running out of conspiracy theories because all of them come true. No, either that or none of them come true. Okay, I've explained on more than one occasion. People are saying things that are supposed to happen on a certain time and they don't happen. The conspiracy theorists just move on to another date or another conspiracy. They act like they never even said it, usually when it doesn't happen. Well, and I don't want to hear you moving the date. It's just a way of saying, well, I was wrong, but I can't admit it. So I'm going to say, instead of it happening on March the 4th, it's going to happen by August. That's a long time in between those months. Okay, the evil dummy was supposed to be inaugurated or put back into office on March the 4th, and now they're saying sometime in August. Be like, wait a minute, March, April, May, June, July. That's 6 months. So you go from March the 4th, that the evil dummy was supposed to go back in office, to August something, rather or another. They just say, oh, it's going to be done in August. So this was just say before August the 31st. That's nonsense. Okay, the evil dummy's done. Okay, this is silly. But the conspiracies are not coming true. You're just moving the timeline because they're not coming true. So, and that's not the only thing. This vaccine is not making you magnetized. Okay, you're making a fool out of yourself if if you think the vaccine is making you magnetized. You should try it. Go get vaccinated, and then take some metal and smack it up on yourself. It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna do anything. And don't just stick it. Don't just get something sticky or wait till you're half sweaty fat person. If you're a fat person, hey, I'm a big guy. I'm not super fat, but big people sweat easy when it's warm out. Okay, you can get stuff to stick to you, and you know it. Don't try to sit up there and pretend like, no, I'm magnetized because I got the vaccine. I'm fully vaccinated. Now I'm magnetized. That is not true at all. And that's what burns a sane person up, like myself, is that there's so many people saying things that are just not true. Just not true. And they're pretending like, oh yeah, this is what I didn't finish telling you. I took a glass of cold water and a glass of hot water, and I put them in the freezer because people used to tell me years ago. This was years ago. People used to tell me that hot water freezes faster than cold water, and I was thinking that's just not possible. Okay? It's just not possible. And one guy explained it to me this way. He said, well, when you stick the hot water in the freezer, the temperature drops faster than on cold water. And I said, yeah, that's because the temperature on hot water is so much higher. It drops faster at first, but bear with me. I'm explaining this. The temperature on the hot water at some point has to reach the same temperature as the cold water. Why would it continue to go down any quicker? Okay, let me explain it this way. For those of you who think hot water freezes faster than cold, which is not possible, law of physics dictates. Let's just say the cold water is what you're saying is room temperature, or maybe even colder than room temperature. Room temperature is 72 degrees, I think, the average room temperature. Let's just say that the cold water is 50 degrees, so that's 22 degrees colder than room temperature. The cold water is 50 degrees. Let's say the hot water is 250 degrees. Now, if you put those both in the freezer, the cold water is 50 degrees. It only has to go down to 32 degrees to freeze. Let's start the freezing. um, starts freezing at 32 degrees. So the hot water has over 220 degrees to drop before the freezing process starts on the hot water. Now, because that water is so hot and you put it in the freezer, it's surrounded by cold, it starts to drop. The temperature starts to drop fast because you've taken boiling water and put it in a cup, a plastic cup, and then set it inside a freezer, so the temperature starts to drop fast because of the disparity, the difference between 250 degrees Fahrenheit and 32, which is freezing. You've got over 218 is 218 degrees difference. So the cold water, which is 50 degrees, only has 18 degrees. It only has 18 degrees to drop. You get 218 degrees and 18 degrees. So the hot water temperature is dropping faster, but it has a long way to go. And once it gets down to 50 degrees, it ain't going to freeze any faster. Now that's a big, long, drawn out explanation, but what I'm telling you is if you test this theory that hot water freezes faster than cold, you'll find out that that's not true. Once the hot water gets down to to where it's not hot anymore, it ain't gonna freeze any faster than cold water. And the cold water has a head start, is what I'm telling you. You should test this theory. I already knew it was nonsense when someone told me this, but I had to physically take 2 cups to prove it to that. It was a girl. And I was trying to do it and prove it to her without upsetting her. I didn't want to get cut off. So she told me this, and I took a glass of hot water and a glass of cold water, stuck it in her freezer. We were at her house at the time. The cold water started to freeze. It was half frozen, and the hot water was still water. It was not hot anymore by the time I checked on it, but it was still water, not frozen at all. It was probably, still warm, but the temperature, had dropped significantly, and it was almost like room temperature. It's probably like 70 degrees, the hot water was, but when the cold water was starting to freeze, it was like half frozen. So anyway, hot water does not freeze faster than cold. Okay, you got to try it, test it out. Take 2 plastic cups and fill them halfway up with water. Boil hot water, put it in a plastic cup, and then just take regular tap water, put in the other one. You'll find out that that's wrong, and you'll find out that people who think that the virus has magnetized them, they're wrong too. It's not magnetizing you. I'm laughing because someone says, "Oh, the conspiracy theories are coming." No, they're not. None of the conspiracy theories are coming true. Just like a few years ago when we were supposed to have a geostorm. It didn't happen. Okay? It didn't happen because these conspiracy theories are wrong. It's conspiracy theories. If you believe them, it's because you're not 100% sane. It's not because you're an idiot. Some of you are smart. You still believe it. It's because your sanity is slowly leaving your brain. And every percentage point that you lose of sanity means something that's ridiculous and not true creeps in. That's what happens. That's what's going on. I hate to be the one to tell you, but you're not all idiots. Some of you are idiots. You believe in things because you're an idiot, But some of you are smart people.